Good morning, everyone. How are we doing today? Thursday, we're gradually getting through the international break. As I said yesterday, like a week from now, we'll be fully building ahead to Hearts. Just a wee schedule update for the channel during the international break. We are going to continue with videos virtually every day. Might have one or 2 days, possibly this weekend, where we won't have any videos. But today we'll be covering the latest Celtic news, so bringing you up to speed with what's happened. There have actually been a few things, even though it's the international break. Going to go through the injury list because there's been a few updates there. Some ticketing stuff that's moderately interesting. I'm really selling this. Sky Sports title party chat, etc. Apologies to the guy yesterday. Can't remember if it was on here or on the Celtic Way having a go at me for talking about title parties. Sorry, mate. I certainly won't do that. After that, going to do a Q&A. Going to do a number of Q&A videos actually over the international break. It's a good time to do them. We can get into various topics. So if you have any, not just questions, but also comments, thoughts, patter, etc., please send them below this video. I'll be sending out a separate post as well. You can put it under there if you want. And going to get a few of the guys to join me and go through some questions and answers. So that's the plan for the channel. We're also very close to 14,000 subscribers now, everyone. So if just 200 of you, a tiny amount, watching this video who aren't subscribed, fancy taking 5 seconds out of your day to click that button and get us to 14k, it would be massively appreciated. And you know I mean that. Right, okay, few things to cover. Let's start with the international and injury stuff. I did say yesterday that there was a bit of a worry over Daizen Maeda, who picked up a bit of a sore one late on in the derby. I did have it said to me by a few people that it was Vaclav Cherny, who I guess was doing everything on Sunday, who had injured Maeda. But I watched the incident back, and I'm pretty sure it was one about 10 minutes from the end where Tom Lawrence actually comes across where, I mean, I'm biased, but I think it's a pretty crude challenge high on Maeda. Was he booked? I think you know the answer to that. But Maeda certainly took a pretty sore one there, and obviously finished the game because that's what he's like. And then there was a bit of worry, I guess, because it was reported by the Japanese FA that he'd been training on his own earlier this week. I believe on Tuesday he returned to full training with Japan, so training with the group. So that's obviously pretty good news. They're actually playing today in a number of hours, probably from you watching this video. It's a 10:35 a.m. kickoff, Celtic Park time. They've got Bahrain, and it's a pretty big game for Japan because if they win it, they'll qualify for the World Cup, which is incredibly early to be qualifying for the World Cup. What are we? Well over a year from it. Must be one of the first nations to qualify. And it'll be the 8th time in a row they've qualified for the World Cup. And as I say, with 3 games to spare. So, big one for Japan. Do we expect to see Daizen Maeda start the game? No. Reo Hatate, you kind of know how it goes for him at international level. Maybe if they do qualify today, they can then, you maybe see the likes of Reo Hatate playing some of the games now that they're qualified. But big one for Japan. From a Celtic point of view, really good news that Daizen's back in full training. Whether he plays or not during the break for Japan, I'm not too fussed about, but certainly given that we're 9 days away from Celtic returning, you feel good about Maeda being fit for Hearts, which is clearly very important. It's just as important that Callum McGregor is back for that game as well, and that should be the case. A report last night that he's set to return for the Hearts game. We've got no other information in the report. We know that it was a calf issue that McGregor has had for a few weeks. We know that because he confirmed that in the lead up to the derby. But it seems like he was relatively close to being able to play in the derby. There was obviously a bit of speculation in the lead up to the game whether he would feature. So it doesn't seem like it's too bad an issue. Obviously bad enough to keep him out of the game. but very hopeful that he'll return for the Hearts game as well, which is clearly very important given that we want to see a reaction from the team. I know there's been a bit of chat about how much of a difference Callum McGregor makes to Celtic, and I don't know, it's one of the things I struggle with, one of the many things I struggle with. A lot of people pointing out or feeling that somehow McGregor's kind of holding the team back a little bit, and you hear comments about when McGregor's out the team, the midfield will function a bit better. I just don't buy that at all. I think Callum McGregor is so important to this Celtic team, has been for about 7 or 8 seasons now, and yeah, he's maybe not having his best season, but I don't think he's been bad at all. I think he's still been really important for us this season and will continue to be. So I don't know if it's just a case of, you know, when you see someone in the team for a number of years, it becomes quite repetitive and you want something fresh in there. And I guess we had a similar thing with Scott Brown when he reached a point. I think McGregor's still got plenty to offer us. Certainly right at this moment, he is in our best team. I still think he's our best midfielder, pretty by a clear margin. So want him back in the team for Hearts, set the standard. Let's see a reaction for that game in 9 days. Elsewhere, Austin Trusty, another absentee at the moment. He missed the derby, which kind of came out of the blue because he played against Hibs and then he pulled out of the USA squad for their matches. A calf issue for Trusty as well, so same as Callum McGregor in that regard. US boss Maurizio Pochettino shed some real light on Trusty's situation yesterday when he said, "It's difficult to explain because I am not a doctor. I am not the right guy to say and to explain what happened with these guys, but I see for different reasons they have some problems. For medical reasons, that is why they cannot be here for the CONCACAF." Yes, thanks very much for that, Maurizio. What we do know about Trusty is that Brendan said he tried to give it a go for the derby. So I guess a bit like McGregor, doesn't seem like a really severe issue that's going to keep him out for a lengthy amount of time. So just to summarise for now, Maeda back in training with Japan, seems like he'll be good for Hearts. McGregor, the reports are he'll be good for Hearts. Trusty, you would expect similar. Elsewhere, we're still waiting on James Forrest returning to the matchday squad. The last time he played was League Cup final back in December. So he's been missing, I didn't tally up the games, but I'm assuming it's like 20 games or something James Forrest has missed. And we got a comment in yesterday saying that whoever it was reckons that James Forrest coming back will really be quite important for Celtic. And I totally agree. I think James Forrest, although he wasn't necessarily starting games first half of the season, it was mainly off the bench, although he did start the odd game. I just thought he was a great option off the bench, and I think we've really lacked that in the 3 months that he's been missing. So hopefully he comes back as soon as possible. Certainly seems like he's really not far away from being in the matchday squad. Liam Scales has this kind of facial jaw issue, potentially a broken jaw there. I believe he's having surgery during the international break. May already have had it, actually. So you would think he probably wouldn't be back for Hearts. Again, Maurizio, I'm not a doctor, so I can't say too much, but you would think with a surgery for a broken jaw, he would potentially miss Hearts, maybe another game or so. Paulo Bernardo, the talk was that he would be back after the break, so not 100% sure if that will be the case, but we'll have to wait and see. So yeah, I think the squad should look a lot stronger when we come back after the break, and you just really want to see a reaction in that Hearts game. As I said the other day, I've got some doubts of whether we will. I think this is where Brendan Rodgers really earns his money in terms of it. It does maybe seem like the players over the past wee while, some would say it's been a case of 3 or 4 months, whatever, have maybe just been doing enough. There's been the odd really top performance, and especially in Europe, we saw some really good things. But maybe domestically, the players haven't had many blowaway performances, and even when we've been winning games convincingly, like the Aberdeen game for example, we won 5-1 at Celtic Park, you maybe wouldn't say that was like an incredible performance. It was a pretty poor display that night. So I want to see the team coming back and finishing this season strongly. If, as I keep saying, if the players feel like they've done their job this season, they're badly mistaken. We have a lot to achieve between now and the end of the campaign. We've got that final derby. We've got to wrap the league up. And obviously winning the Scottish Cup is no guarantee. If we play like we did on Sunday, we'll have issues at Hampden. So, yeah, it's a weird one. Brendan Rodgers has to find a way to motivate them again. And he's very good at finding ways to motivate them. But you look back at this time last year and motivation was pretty easy. We obviously had the kind of media coverage we were getting, and Brendan Rodgers was creating a bit of a siege mentality, and the officials' decisions that went against us, and people talking up Rangers, and the Joe Hart stuff as well was pretty big. And obviously the fact that the league was really close, there was no margin for error, and even the fact Rangers were still in the Scottish Cup and we played them in the final. This year, you kind of look, what can you use to motivate the players? And I guess the big one for me would be, what a season you've had so far. This could go down there or up there as one of the best Celtic seasons over the past several decades. Like, it's been that good when you look at the competition by competition and the way the team have met objectives both at home and in the Champions League. So go and finish the season in style and make it a season to remember. And yeah, maybe you use the feeling from Sunday as real motivation. I guess some of us have issues with that because the previous derby, you would have hoped that would have been enough motivation for Sunday there, but maybe there was other factors there as well. For me, I would make a few changes in the team for Hearts. I said already I'd put Yang in there from the start. You're hoping someone like Paulo Bernardo could be back and maybe come into the action again and just spice things up a bit and give a bit of competition in certain areas. But yeah, that's where we're at injury-wise. In terms of other stuff, I did see a story yesterday from the Celtic Star on a ticket update that came from Aberdeen ahead of their Scottish Cup semi-final against Hearts. By the way, that Don's Jambos semi will take place on Saturday the 19th of April at 12:30. Our semi, you'll probably have seen this, against St Johnstone, will be the following day, so Sunday the 20th of April, 3 o'clock kickoff for that one at Hampden, and it'll be live on Premier Sports. Anyway, Aberdeen say there'll be a change to ticket use for this match and therefore ours as well, with all tickets being in digital format for this game through the Hampden Park app. So that means that no paper tickets will be available for our semi against St Johnstone. Clearly Hampden are moving to a fully digital system via this app. I don't know if the app is a particularly new thing. I'm guessing they're going to use it for will Scotland have a game coming up at Hampden next week, don't they? So you'll need the app if you're going to the game to be able to scan things in. I can't quite work out in my head how they're going to, you're going to buy tickets from the Celtic ticket website, obviously, and how they're going to transfer automatically onto the app. I'm sure there will be a way they're going to do it, and it's kind of what we've been calling out for, I think, with tickets, modernisation and technological advancement there. And personally, I think Celtic should have a system like this in place as well. And, if anyone's ever tried to buy general sale tickets, I don't know if this is still the case. I'm assuming it would be, but you can't get them on your phone at all. And I guess with season tickets, you can't get them on your phone either. You still need to carry around a card or individual paper tickets for general sale matches, Champions League stuff and that. So I think if Celtic were able to follow suit here and have some sort of an app, it would make sharing tickets easier. Perhaps that could bring about the ticket exchange system that we're looking at as well. So yeah, online only, digital only for the Cup semi against St Johnstone. I'm sure the club will communicate exactly how that's going to work prior to the game. As the Celtic Star pointed out, it will be interesting to see how that works for supporters buses as well. Expecting a huge Celtic support for that semi-final. St Johnstone probably only going to have 5,000 tickets or so. So 90% of Hampden will be made up by Celtic fans. Anyone who wants a ticket for that game will probably get one. Just another note before I go. Yesterday, Sky Sports announced a few more fixture selections for match day 33 of the Premiership, so the final match day before we go into the split. As I covered yesterday, we're currently potentially 4 wins away from the title should Rangers keep winning, which is obviously a big if given how their form has been this season. Then we would need 4 more wins, so we'd go into the first game after the split to potentially seal the title. However, Kilmarnock at home is the third of those 4 games, and there's obviously the potential for that being a title party if we were to keep winning and Rangers drop some points. And Sky clearly want all bases covered for that one, because that game has been moved from, I think it would be 3 o'clock on a Saturday to 12:30 on Saturday the 12th of April. The following day, Rangers go to Aberdeen at noon. That's been chosen by Sky as well. Obviously, that could potentially be I don't know if it's a title party, but that could potentially be the clincher for us as well. If that doesn't happen, we'd then move into the first game after the split, which I assume would be away from home for us. But anyway, despite the doom and gloom of Sunday, I think it's just a reminder that when we come back from the break, everyone I think is going to have moved on from that, and we're looking ahead to sealing the league title. And we're only a number of wins away from doing that. So hopefully the team can return bit between their teeth. If we get a big win over Hearts, I think that'll make everyone feel a lot better. And then we can hopefully enjoy the rest of our league campaign and the Scottish Cup as well. As I say, please send in your statements, thoughts, questions below this video, and tomorrow we'll have the first of our Q&As dropping.